Okay, let's get right to it. It is Wednesday and it is June 17th. This is your Bring Me the News weather update along with Novak Weather. I'm Tom Novak. We're going to be mostly concentrating now on late tonight and then especially tomorrow in this update because I am concerned that some severe weather may pop up over Minnesota later tonight and then again reorganizing or redeveloping again tomorrow over the state. And I'm also actually concerned about some areas of intense or torrential rainfall that will fall in some much needed areas or in some areas that desperately need some rain. And I'm just going to show you that in a little bit here. Here's the visible satellite loop now for early this afternoon. And of course, we are focusing on now some showers and storms that have just started to pop up now over eastern North Dakota. And they are heading northeast towards northwestern Minnesota. This is a part of the state right up here in Kitson County, Roseau County, up there where Hallock and Roseau, Minnesota, and Thief River Falls that really don't need the rain. Looks like they're going to get some here later this afternoon and evening. But I'm also expecting more storms to develop in this sector here over eastern South Dakota, eastern North Dakota, and then eventually heading into western Minnesota as we get into later this afternoon and certainly this evening in the overnight hours. All right, interesting moisture loop channel now. Call this the water vapor imagery from the satellite. And geographic perspective now, here's Minnesota right here. Okay, and the reason why I'm showing you much of the eastern portion of the United States is because look at this persistent, again, churning upper level low. We've had these types of lows that have been churning over the country here for the last 1 to 2 months where these low pressure systems just simply don't move. And the reason why this is important is because it's creating a block in our atmosphere. It is not letting this cold front and at least what I would consider milder and certainly drier air, it's keeping it out west of Minnesota. So hence, we're kind of stuck in this pattern here in Minnesota where it's warm, windy, and then occasionally wet. And that's not going to change until this spinning low pressure system kicks out. And I expect that to happen this weekend. But again, another just painfully slow moving low pressure system that is churning away in our atmosphere over the eastern portion of the United States that's playing a role in our weather here in Minnesota. Current temperatures across the upper Midwest early this afternoon, very similar to yesterday, almost a carbon copy. We are in the mid to upper 80s across much of Minnesota, 88 in the Twin Cities here, and then of course low to mid 90s now over western Minnesota. You can see some of these showers and storms now popping up over northeastern North Dakota. That's keeping their temperatures lower in the 70s there around Devil's Lake. And then as we zoom in a little bit here and we focus in on the heart of Minnesota, 94 up in Fargo. They're heading for the mid to upper 90s today. Again, mid 90s across much of western Minnesota. A strong southerly and southeasterly breeze across all of the state right now. And many of us will be coming close to or exceeding the 90-degree mark as we get into late this afternoon. Temperature should be a little bit cooler tomorrow, of course, especially if we have cloud cover. Okay, now, speaking of the severe weather potential for tomorrow now, this is the NAM computer model guidance, and this is the jet stream structure, the river of air at 30 to 35,000 feet. And of course, we always talk about these jet streaks, which are stronger areas of wind within the actual jet stream. Okay, again, they're called jet streaks. And here's one located tomorrow afternoon right across the eastern Dakotas and heading north into southern Manitoba, and usually on the right rear quad is what we call it of a jet streak. That is where you get intense lift. Okay, so we are expecting that the dynamics will be there, especially from a wind standpoint in our atmosphere for severe weather. But we have two red flags with this system tomorrow. Okay, the first is that we're likely going to have a lot of cloud cover over Minnesota due to thunderstorms that develop overnight tonight, and then we call it debris clouds that push east from these thunderstorms from the Dakotas will come into Minnesota. Of course, that limits the heating, the amount of sunshine that hits the earth, which decreases the energy at the surface of our earth. So cloud cover is going to play a role in if we get severe weather or not. Now the second red flag is that we don't have a dry punch. We don't have dry air coming in the middle levels of our atmosphere into Minnesota. Hence, it's going to be moist from the surface all the way up through our atmosphere. That's a good heavy rain scenario, but it is not a good severe weather scenario. So unless we can get a good dry punch to come into this system tomorrow, I think our potential for some real significant or widespread severe weather is going to be limited. But we'll just have to see how that transpires as we go through the day tomorrow. Okay, here is the NAM 3K. This is, again, the NAM computer model guidance for predicted rainfall now between today and Friday morning. And the reason why I'm showing you this, of course, is we want to see where the heavy rain is expected over the next couple of days. And it's expected in areas that desperately need it. This is the part of Minnesota here, west central, southwestern Minnesota into central Minnesota that really, really needs rainfall. They are in drought conditions in that part of the state. And look at this, some real heavy rain is expected from about the Mankato area on northwest and north up to near St. Cloud and the Alexandria area along the I-94 corridor. Again, these are areas that desperately need rain, and I think they are going to get it here over the next 24 to 48 hours. Now, another area that still needs some rain is northern Minnesota, and it looks like they may escape the brunt of the rain with this next system. I still do expect scattered showers and storms up there, but certainly not the widespread heavy rainfall that could happen here from about the Twin Cities metro on west. And of course, southeastern Minnesota, which does not need the rain, they definitely could get some heavy rains later in the day tomorrow as this storm system continues to push east out of the Dakotas towards Minnesota and western Wisconsin. But again, good news for those areas that are in a drought over western and central Minnesota. Here's future radar. This is the radar for late this afternoon. You can see that the NAM computer model guidance, the NAM Nest, is predicting some storms now to start breaking out late this afternoon and early evening across eastern North Dakota. And look at how they explode over eastern North Dakota and northwestern Minnesota by late this evening. These storms, of course, develop a line or a squall line and then eventually start to dissipate as we head towards tomorrow morning. And again, one of the keys for severe weather tomorrow is how much of debris clouds and precipitation is going to affect the heating that is supposed to occur during the day tomorrow across Minnesota. As we continue to put this radar in motion, yes, I think scattered showers and storms are going to be all across Minnesota much of the day tomorrow. And then as we get into tomorrow afternoon and evening, you can see a regeneration of the storms across eastern and southern Minnesota, so that by tomorrow evening, early evening tomorrow, we may be talking about some severe weather and certainly some heavy rain patches over much of southern and eastern Minnesota, heading into portions of western Wisconsin. Okay, one last map to show you. Of course, we've showed you this with Bring Me the News. This is the severe weather potential for tomorrow. And again, this is not a slam dunk severe weather event. You can see that here from my Novak Weather Facebook page. I'm not expecting a widespread tornadic type of an environment across Minnesota, but yes, I am expecting that portions of southern and eastern Minnesota are going to be in a very favorable area, not only for severe weather, but for some heavy rains. And we may even have to watch out for some small stream flooding across those areas that are already saturated with heavy rains over the last several weeks and the last couple of months. All right, that is your Bring Me the Weather, or Bring Me the News Novak Weather Update. I appreciate you joining me. We will be going on again tomorrow, of course, with a weather briefing that'll focus on the severe weather that is expected to occur, or that could occur during the day tomorrow. Take care.